They scanned a human warship, and what they found terrified the aliens. Part 5. The bridge doors of the Pride of Talvar exploded inward. Not from explosives, but from Lieutenant Minho using a piece of bulkhead as a battering ram. 37 humans poured through the opening in perfect formation. The Talvari bridge crew reached for weapons, but Captain Yuna's voice cut through the chaos like a blade. "Stop," she commanded in perfect Talvari, learned from 3 days of listening. Nobody moves, nobody dies. The bridge crew froze. It was not just the command. It was the way she said it. Absolute certainty. Zero hesitation. The voice of someone who had given that order before and meant every word. Lieutenant Minho and his team secured the bridge crew quickly, efficiently. Zip ties improvised from maintenance materials. Hands behind backs, seated on the floor. Not harmed, not threatened, just contained. Ensign Jiwan moved to the communication station. Her fingers flew across alien controls. Within seconds, she had bypassed security protocols. "Captain, I have ship-wide communications and external channels under our control." Dr. Hien checked each secured Talvari. "No serious injuries among the bridge crew, Captain. Some bruising, nothing permanent." Commander Velthar arrived at the bridge 3 minutes later with 20 armed soldiers. They stopped at the entrance, weapons ready. What they saw made them hesitate. Captain Yuna stood in the center of the bridge, calm and composed. Her crew had secured every station. They had not destroyed anything. They had not killed anyone. But they controlled the entire bridge, and by extension they controlled the ship. "Commander Velthar," Yuna said, greeting him as if they were old friends meeting for tea. "Please come in, slowly. Have your soldiers lower their weapons. I promise we mean you no harm." "You have taken my bridge," Velthar said, his voice shaking with rage and something else. "Fear. You have attacked my crew." "We defended ourselves," Yuna corrected. "Your crew is alive and unharmed. We could have killed everyone we encountered. We chose not to. Now please lower your weapons. We need to talk." Velthar made a gesture. His soldiers lowered their weapons slightly but remained ready. He entered the bridge slowly. "What do you want?" he asked. Yuna smiled. "Respect, understanding, and to deliver a message to your empire." She turned to Ensign Jiwan. "Open a channel to Admiral Velkar. Maximum priority. And begin broadcasting this conversation on all Talvari military frequencies." "Captain, that is a declaration of war," Velthar protested. "No," Yuna said simply. "It is a declaration of existence. Your empire needs to know we exist. They need to understand what we are. And they need to make a choice." The view screen activated. Admiral Velkar's face appeared, surprise and anger clear in his expression. "Commander Velthar, what is the meaning of this?" "Admiral Velkar," Yuna said, stepping into view. "I am Captain Yuna of the United Earth Space Navy. I apologize for the irregular nature of this communication, but circumstances have forced my hand. Your commander made errors in judgment. We have corrected those errors. No one has been killed. No one will be killed unless you force our hand." Velkar's 3 eyes widened. "Human, you are prisoners. You have no authority here." "Actually," Yuna said, her voice remaining calm, "we are soldiers who refuse to remain prisoners. There is a difference. Now, Admiral, you and your people have made several assumptions about humanity. Let me correct those assumptions." She gestured to Ensign Jiwan, who began displaying information on all screens. Images from Earth, data about human civilization, military records, ship specifications. "You found our vessel, the UESN Indomitable," Yuna explained. "You scanned it. You analyzed it. You concluded that we were primitives with inferior technology. You were partially correct. Our technology is simpler than yours, but you made one critical error." She paused for effect. "You assume technology equals capability. It does not." Yuna pulled up combat records. "The Indomitable is a patrol corvette. It is one of our smallest military vessels. Its crew of 37 is considered a skeleton crew for such operations. Yet it survived 17 combat engagements against 5 hostile species. It destroyed or disabled 42 enemy vessels. It saved countless civilian lives." More images appeared. Earth's fleet. Dozens of warships, hundreds of support vessels, orbital shipyards constructing new ships. "This is our fleet, Admiral. 247 warships, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, dreadnoughts, and we are building more. We have been at war with ourselves for 10,000 years. We have refined combat into an art form. We have weapons that can crack planets. We have soldiers trained from childhood for warfare. Velkar watched in silence as the displays continued. Weapons demonstrations, Marines in powered armor, orbital bombardment platforms, nuclear arsenals. But here's what you need to understand, Yuna said, her voice softening. We do not want war with you. We came to this region of space on a patrol mission. We encountered hostiles. We survived. We sent a distress signal hoping for rescue by our own people. Instead, you found us, she gestured around the bridge. We could have killed everyone aboard this ship. We have the training. We have the will. We chose not to. Do you understand why? Velkar said nothing. Yuna continued. Because humans understand something your empire seems to have forgotten. Strength is not just the ability to destroy. Strength is the wisdom to show mercy. Power is not just taking what you want. Power is knowing when not to use force. She walked closer to the view screen. Your commander Velthar made mistakes. He treated us as prisoners instead of guests. He interrogated us instead of speaking with us as equals. He assumed weakness based on appearance, but he did not harm us. He did not torture us. He did not execute us. For that he lives. For that everyone on this ship lives. Captain Yuna pulled up a star chart. Admiral, we have scanned your empire while aboard this ship. We know where your homeworlds are. We know your fleet positions. We know your defenses. We could destroy your civilization within a year if we chose to do so. The bridge went silent. Every Talvari present felt ice in their blood. Velkar's face showed horror. But we will not, Yuna said firmly. Because that is not who we are. Humans fight when threatened. We defend when attacked. We never surrender. But we are not conquerors. We are explorers. We seek knowledge, trade, friendship. We want allies, not enemies. She transmitted coordinates. These are the coordinates for diplomatic contact with United Earth. Send an ambassador. Send scientists. Send merchants. Send whatever representatives you choose. We will meet them with respect and openness. We will negotiate treaties. We will establish trade. We will build something better than war. Lieutenant Minho stepped forward. Captain, the UESN Indomitable is ready for departure. Engineering repairs are complete. Yuna nodded. She turned back to Velkar. Admiral, we are leaving now. We are taking our ship and going home. We will report this encounter to our government. What happens next depends on you. You can send diplomats or you can send warships. Choose wisely. One more thing, Yuna added. Your science officer, Crick, studied our records thoroughly. He understood what we are. He tried to warn you. Listen to him, he is wise. Wisdom is more valuable than weapons. She gestured to her crew. Everyone back to the Indomitable. We are going home. The humans moved in perfect order, filing off the bridge. They left the Talvari crew unharmed, tied but not injured. They left the ship's systems intact. They took nothing but their own people and their own vessel. Commander Velthar watched them go, his mind reeling. He had seen humans fight. He had seen them show mercy. He had seen them demonstrate power without cruelty. It changed everything he thought he knew about strength. As the humans departed, Captain Yuna stopped at the bridge entrance. She looked back at Velthar. Commander, thank you for not harming my crew. That decision saved your life and the lives of everyone aboard this ship. Remember that. Remember that humans respond to how they are treated. Treat us with respect, we respond with friendship. Treat us with hostility, we respond with overwhelming force. The choice is always yours. Then she was gone. The UESN Indomitable detached from the Pride of Talvar. Its engines, repaired with improvised parts and Talvari materials, ignited. The small patrol corvette, scarred and battle-worn, accelerated away. On the Indomitable's bridge, Captain Yuna sat in her command chair. Her crew worked at their stations, professional and efficient. Lieutenant Minho plotted a course home. Dr. Hyan treated injuries. Ensign Jiwan monitored communications. Ensign Deho readied weapons just in case. Captain, Minho said, we have a clean exit vector. No pursuit? Good, Yuna replied. Take us home, Lieutenant. Maximum speed. We have a report to file. As the ship jumped to faster-than-light travel, Yuna allowed herself a small smile. They had survived. They had completed their mission. They had saved the colony. They had encountered a new species. And they had done so without starting a war. That was what humans did best. They survived. They adapted. They overcame. And they gave everyone a choice. Behind them, aboard the Pride of Talvar, Admiral Velkar sat in stunned silence. Crix approached him carefully. Admiral, Crix said quietly. Your orders? Velkar thought for a long moment. Then he made the most important decision of his career. Send a message to all fleet commanders. New standing orders regarding humans do not engage. They scanned a human warship, and what they found terrified the aliens. Part 4 Captain Yuna woke to the sound of alarms she did not recognize. Her body ached. Cryosleep always left muscles stiff and mind foggy, but training took over. She assessed her situation in seconds. She was not on her ship. The walls were wrong. The air smelled different. Alien technology hummed around her. Her crew's cryopods surrounded her, but they were in an unfamiliar chamber. Armed guards stood by the doors, creatures she had never seen before. Yuna remained still, eyes barely open, watching. The aliens were tall, with 3 eyes and scaled skin. They carried energy weapons. Their body language showed confidence, even arrogance. They thought the humans were contained, helpless. They were wrong. Other pods began opening. Lieutenant Minho emerged first after Yuna. Their eyes met for less than a second. No words needed. Minho saw what Yuna saw. He understood. His right hand moved slightly, hidden from the guards. 3 fingers up. Then 2, then 1. Combat signals. Ready status. Dr. Hyun woke next. She coughed, pretending weakness while her sharp eyes scanned the chamber. Medical assessment in progress. She looked at each guard, noting anatomy. Weak points. Vulnerabilities. Ensign Jiwon sat up slowly, appearing confused and frightened. But her fingers moved against the pod's edge, counting. 6 guards, 4 exits. 3 aliens at each door. Numbers. Always useful. One by one, the human crew emerged from cryo-sleep. They appeared weak, disoriented, helpless. It was not entirely an act. Cryo-sleep left the body vulnerable, but humans were very good at fighting through weakness. An alien wearing elaborate armor approached. Commander Velthar. He spoke, and a device translated his words into English. I am Commander Velthar of the Talvari Empire. You are aboard my flagship. Your vessel was found drifting. We have taken you into custody for questioning. Yuna stood slowly, keeping her hands visible. She spoke calmly, her voice showing no fear. I am Captain Yuna of the United Earth Space Navy. My crew and I thank you for rescuing us. However, we are military personnel, not prisoners. We request our status be clarified under interstellar law. Velthar seemed surprised by her composure. You are in no position to request anything. You will answer our questions. If you cooperate, you will not be harmed. Yuna smiled slightly. It was not a friendly smile. Commander, I have been in worse situations than this. I have cooperated with you so far. But understand something clearly. My crew and I are not your prisoners. We are guests or we are enemies. There is no middle ground. You threaten me? Velthar laughed. You are unarmed. Your ship is secured. You are surrounded by my soldiers on my ship. What can you possibly do? Yuna's smile did not change. Let me show you what humans can do when we choose to act. But first, a warning. If you harm any member of my crew, you will not leave this room alive. Now, shall we discuss this situation like civilized beings? Or shall we demonstrate why Earth trains its sailors for boarding actions? Velthar's confidence wavered. Something in Yuna's tone and her absolute certainty made him hesitate. He made another mistake. He decided to assert dominance through interrogation. Over the next 3 days, the Talvari questioned the humans separately. They kept the crew in holding cells. They provided food and water but maintained strict guard rotations. They thought they were in control. They were not paying attention to the small things. Dr. Hyun, during her medical examination, asked questions about Talvari biology. She claimed professional curiosity. The medical staff, flattered, explained their physiology. She learned that Talvari had 3 critical nerve clusters: neck, lower back, and behind the knee. Striking those points would cause temporary paralysis. Ensign Jiwon, appearing cooperative and friendly, chatted with guards. She asked innocent questions about their families, their duties, their ship. She memorized guard rotations, shift changes, security protocols. She smiled and seemed harmless while mapping every weakness in their security. Lieutenant Minho, during exercise periods, tested the cell's materials. He found that wall panels were secured with simple fasteners. Support beams could be loosened. Ventilation grates were removable. He shared this information through micro-expressions and finger movements that the guards never noticed. Ensign Daeho, during meals, studied the food trays. Metal, durable, the right size and weight to be used as weapons. He noted that guard armor had gaps at the joints. Energy weapons had biometric locks, but armor could be breached with improvised tools. The humans coordinated through a system that Talvari did not understand. Micro-expressions, slight hand movements, the position of objects in cells, body language so subtle that cameras missed it. Humans had evolved to read faces, to communicate without words. It was a skill that served them well. On the third day during the morning meal it happened. Yuna gave the signal. A simple gesture, brushing her hair behind her ear with her left hand. Every human saw it. Every human understood. 3 seconds. Guards entered Yuna's cell to collect her meal tray. She stood slowly, stumbled as if weak. The guard reached out to steady her. Yuna's hand shot up, fingers striking the nerve cluster at the guard's neck with surgical precision. The guard dropped, paralyzed. In the same instant, across all holding cells, 37 humans moved as one. Lieutenant Minho drove his meal tray into a guard's visor, cracking it. His other hand grabbed the guard's weapon arm, twisting. The weapon fired wild, hitting the ceiling. Minho struck the nerve cluster behind the guard's knee. The guard collapsed. Dr. Hyun moved with medical precision, her strikes targeting vulnerable points she had studied. 2 guards went down in seconds. Ensign Jiwon used a loosened support beam as a staff, sweeping guard legs. She was small but fast, moving like water around attacks. Throughout the detention area, chaos erupted. But it was not chaos to the humans. It was coordinated, practiced, efficient. They had trained for this exact scenario. Capture, escape, survival. The Talvari guards were skilled warriors. They had superior weapons and armor, but they had never faced humans before. They did not understand what it meant to fight creatures that evolved as persistence predators, that were born on a death world, that trained for combat from childhood in their military. Humans fought with improvised weapons, meal trays, support beams, pieces of broken equipment. They fought with bare hands when necessary. They struck weak points with precision. They coordinated without speaking. They did not stop when injured. One guard managed to fire his weapon at Lieutenant Minho. The energy blast struck his shoulder, burning through skin. Minho grunted, switched to his other arm, and continued fighting. Pain was temporary. Mission was permanent. Within 5 minutes, the detention area was secured. 37 humans stood among unconscious Talvari guards. They had suffered injuries but no deaths. The Talvari had 52 guards incapacitated. Captain Yuna assessed her crew. Status? 12 minor injuries, 1 moderate, Dr. Hyun reported, already treating Minho's burn. All mobile. Combat effective? Equipment? Yuna asked. Ensign Deho held up several pieces of Talvari technology. Weapons are biometric locked, but I can override given time. Armor is usable. Communication devices are accessible. Jiwon, ship layout. Ensign Jaiwan pointed down a corridor. Bridge is 3 levels up, forward section. Engineering is 2 levels down. We are in the detention block midship. I estimate 200 Talvari crew aboard. Yuna made her decision. We take the bridge. Non-lethal force when possible. These Talvari made mistakes, but they did not harm us. We show them what humans do better than anyone else. We adapt, we overcome, and we give our enemies one chance to surrender before we stop being polite. The crew moved out, 37 humans against 200 aliens deep in enemy territory. With improvised weapons and iron determination, Commander Velthar received the alert in his quarters. Humans have escaped detention, his security chief reported, panic clear in his voice. They have incapacitated all guards. They are moving toward the bridge. Velthar grabbed his weapon and ran. As he moved through corridors, he began to understand the horrible truth that Crix had tried to warn him about. The humans were not prisoners escaping. They were soldiers executing a mission, and nothing in the galaxy was more dangerous than a human with a mission. They scanned a human warship, and what they found terrified the aliens. Part 3 Admiral Velkar received the transmission from Commander Velthar with skepticism. He had ruled the Talvari fleet for 30 years. He had seen every trick, every threat, every species that thought themselves powerful. The report about humans seemed exaggerated. Primitives with old technology, Velkar said to his advisors. Velthar is being overly cautious, but Velkar was thorough. He ordered Crix to send all data about the humans. For 2 days, Talvari analysts studied every file recovered from the UESN Indomitable. What they discovered changed everything. Crick stood in the analysis chamber surrounded by holographic displays. Each screen showed different aspects of human civilization. He had been awake for 30 hours, reading, analyzing, trying to understand these creatures. "Show me their homeworld," Admiral Velkar commanded through the communication link. Crix pulled up planetary data. Earth appeared on the screen, a blue and green sphere covered in water and land. The statistics scrolled beside it. Earth, Crix began. Gravity 1.5 standard. Atmospheric composition, 21% oxygen, 78% nitrogen. Surface temperature range -89 to +58 degrees Celsius. Natural disasters include earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods, and droughts. Velkar listened. "This is a death world." "Yes, Admiral," Crix confirmed. "But humans evolved there. They adapted to these conditions. Their bodies are built to survive in environments that would kill most species." Crix pulled up medical data. Human bones are reinforced with calcium and can heal from breaks. Their skin repairs itself from cuts. They can survive for weeks without food, days without water. Their bodies produce adrenaline, a chemical that increases strength and speed during danger. "Continue," Velkar ordered. Crix opened combat footage files, not from the Indomitable but from Earth's own history, videos of human wars. Thousands of years of conflict. Humans fighting with primitive weapons, swords, spears, early firearms, then advanced weapons, tanks, aircraft, nuclear bombs. "Admiral, humans have been in a state of warfare for their entire recorded history," Crix explained. "They have fought each other constantly. Their military tactics are refined through generations of combat experience." One video showed human soldiers in an ancient war, charging across open ground while explosives fell around them. Many died, but others kept running forward. Their determination was absolute. Another video showed modern human soldiers clearing a building room by room, moving with practiced efficiency. They communicated with hand signals. They covered each other's movements. They worked as a perfect unit. "Their military training is extensive," Crix said. "Human soldiers spend years learning combat skills. They practice until actions become automatic. They train in every environment, underwater, in space, in extreme heat and cold." Admiral Velkar watched the videos in silence. Finally, he spoke. "Show me the black box recording from their last battle. The complete version." Crix had been dreading this request. He had watched the full recording 3 times, and each viewing disturbed him more. He activated the file. The bridge of the UESN Indomitable appeared on screen. Captain Yuna sat in the command chair, her face calm despite the chaos around her. Alarms blared. Damage reports scrolled across screens. The ship shook from impacts. "Status," Captain Yuna said, her voice steady. Lieutenant Minho responded from the tactical station. "Hull breaches on decks 3, 5, and 7. Main weapons at 30% capacity. Engines at 50%. Enemy fleet is closing. How many?" Yuna asked. 20 ships, Captain. Crash Dominion heavy cruisers. Recommendations?" Minho did not hesitate. "Retreat, Captain. We cannot win this fight." Yuna considered for exactly 3 seconds. "Negative. The colony world behind us has 40,000 civilians. If we retreat, the Kresh will bombard the planet. Tactical, give me firing solutions. Navigation, plot an intercept course. Engineering, I need everything the engines can give me." The crew responded instantly. No arguments. No hesitation. They knew the odds. They knew they would probably die. They did their jobs anyway. The battle unfolded on screen. The Indomitable charged into the enemy fleet, weapons firing. The ship took massive damage. Entire sections were destroyed. Crew members died at their stations. Crix watched Admiral Velkar's expression change as the recording continued. The Admiral saw things that should have been impossible. He saw human crew members continue working after suffering injuries that should have incapacitated them. He saw them repair systems manually while exposed to vacuum and enemy fire. One scene showed Lieutenant Minho in the reactor room. Radiation alarm screamed. The reactor was damaged and leaking deadly energy. Minho sealed himself inside alone, working to contain the leak. His hands shook from radiation sickness, but he did not stop. He finished the repair, saved the ship, then collapsed. Dr. Hyon dragged him out and somehow kept him alive. Another scene showed Ensign Deho at the weapons station. An explosion threw him across the bridge. His arm was broken. Blood covered his face. He pulled himself back to his station with one arm and continued firing the weapons with his good hand. The battle reached its critical moment. The Indomitable's main weapons failed. Most of the enemy fleet remained. Captain Yuna made her decision. "All hands, this is the captain," she announced over shipwide communications. "We have done our duty. The colony is safe. The colony ships have escaped. Now we finish this." Ramming speed. "It has been an honor serving with you all," the crew responded with one voice. "Honored to serve, Captain." The ship turned toward the largest enemy vessel. Engines pushed to maximum. At the last second, Yuna fired every remaining weapon at point-blank range, then changed course. The enemy ship exploded. The shockwave damaged 3 more vessels and gave the Indomitable enough time to escape into faster-than-light travel. But the ship was dying. Critical systems failed one by one. Captain Yuna made another decision. Activate emergency cryo-sleep for all hands. Route all remaining power to life support and distress beacon. We will sleep until rescue arrives. "And if rescue does not arrive, Captain?" someone asked. Yuna's response was simple. "Then we sleep forever, knowing we did our duty." The recording ended with the crew entering their cryopods. Captain Yuna was last, checking each pod personally before sealing herself in. Her final words were recorded by the ship's computer. "UESN Indomitable end log. Status mission complete. Colony saved. Crew in stasis. Awaiting recovery. God save Earth." The analysis chamber was silent. Admiral Velkar stared at the blank screen for a long time. Finally he spoke. "How many ships does Earth have in their fleet?" Crix pulled up the data, his hands trembling. "According to their registry, Earth has 247 warships currently in service. The UESN Indomitable is classified as a patrol corvette. It ranks among their smallest military vessels." Velkar's 3 eyes widened. "Smallest?" "Yes, Admiral. They have destroyers 3 times this size, cruisers 10 times this size. They have ships they call dreadnoughts that are 40 times this size, and they are building more." Crix displayed images from the human database. Massive vessels under construction in orbital shipyards. Weapon systems being tested. "New designs being developed, Admiral," Crix said quietly. "We have made a terrible miscalculation. These humans are not primitives. They are a warrior species from a death world. Their technology may be simpler than ours, but they use it more effectively. They fight with a determination we have never encountered, and we have just discovered them by accident in neutral space." "What do you recommend?" Velkar asked. "We have 2 options," Crix said. "First, destroy the human ship and all evidence of this encounter. Hope they never find us. Second, wake the humans and attempt diplomatic contact." "And if we choose wrong?" Velkar asked. Crix pulled up star charts. "If we destroy their ship and Earth discovers what we did, they will come for us. If we wake them and they are hostile, they are currently on our flagship surrounded by our fleet." Admiral Velkar made his decision. It was the worst decision of his life, though he did not know it yet. "Wake them. Bring the humans aboard the Pride of Talvar. I will speak with this Captain Yuna personally. Perhaps we can make allies of them." Crix wanted to argue, but orders were orders. He contacted Commander Velthar. "Begin revival procedures for the human crew. The Admiral wishes to speak with them." What none of the Talvari understood was simple. Humans were cooperative and diplomatic when treated with respect. But they were currently prisoners on an alien vessel, far from home, with their ship captured and their weapons confiscated. The Talvari were about to learn what happened when humans felt threatened. They scanned a human warship, and what they found terrified the aliens. Part 2 Sub-Commander Thex moved through the human ship with growing unease. His soldiers had searched every compartment, every storage bay, every hidden space. What they found disturbed him more with each discovery. The armory was their first shock. Weapons lined the walls in organized racks. But these were not energy weapons or plasma rifles. These were mechanical devices that threw metal projectiles using chemical explosions. The humans called them firearms. Thex picked one up. It was heavy, crude, and terrifyingly simple. "Who still uses kinetic weapons?" one of his soldiers asked. Thex read the label on the weapon. "This is called an assault rifle. It fires 800 rounds per minute. Each round is a small explosive-tipped projectile designed to fragment inside the target." Another soldier found boxes of grenades, explosive devices meant to be thrown by hand. The instructions were printed in simple words on the side. "Pull pin, throw, take cover." "These humans fight like barbarians," the soldier said. But Thex was not so sure. Barbarism implied lack of intelligence. Everything he saw suggested the opposite. The weapons were crude, yes, but they were also reliable. They would work in any environment. No power source required, no complex technology to fail, just mechanical simplicity that could be maintained with basic tools. Back on the Pride of Talvar, Crix dove deeper into the human database. He opened personnel files and began reading about the crew. Each human had a detailed record: training, experience, psychological evaluations. Captain Yuna commanded the vessel. Her file showed 20 years of military service. She had survived 4 ship destructions. Each time she had escaped and continued fighting. Her psychological evaluation included a note that made Crix pause. Captain Yuna exhibits extreme loyalty to her crew and mission. She will not surrender under any circumstances. Recommend for commendation. Lieutenant Minho served as tactical officer. His record showed expertise in close-quarters combat and weapons systems. One incident report detailed how Minho had manually repaired a reactor leak while exposed to lethal radiation levels. He had suffered severe radiation poisoning but survived. The report concluded, Lieutenant Minho's actions saved the ship and crew. His pain tolerance and determination exceed standard human parameters. Dr. Hyun, the chief medical officer, had performed emergency surgery in zero gravity while the ship was under attack. She had saved 12 crew members who should have died from their injuries. Ensign Jiwon had maintained communications during a battle that destroyed their long-range antenna. She had improvised a new system using spare parts and personal communication devices. Every crew member had similar stories. Injuries overcome. Impossible situations survived. Missions completed against overwhelming odds. Crix called Commander Velthar to his station again. Commander, I need to show you something. Velthar arrived, impatience clear in his posture. What now? Crix displayed a video file. This is from their last battle, watch. The screen showed combat footage from the UESN Indomitable's external cameras. The human ship faced an enemy fleet, 20 vessels against 1. The enemy ships fired first and energy beams struck the Indomitable's hull. Armor plating melted. Hull breaches vented atmosphere into space. But the human ship did not retreat. Instead, it accelerated forward, directly into the enemy formation. Its weapons fired continuously. Magnetic accelerators threw metal slugs at tremendous speeds. Missiles streaked through the void, trailing fire. The human ship took terrible damage. Entire sections were destroyed. But it kept fighting. Velthar watched as human crew members in pressure suits moved across the exterior hull during the battle, manually repairing damaged systems while enemy fire continued around them. They fight while exposed to vacuum, Velthar said quietly. They repair their ship during combat. Crix nodded. Yes, Commander. And watch this part. The video showed the moment when the Indomitable's main weapons failed. Most species would have surrendered at that point. The humans did not. Captain Yuna's voice came through the audio recording, calm and clear. All hands brace for impact. We are going to ramming speed. The human ship turned and accelerated directly toward the largest enemy vessel. At the last moment, the Indomitable fired its remaining missiles at point-blank range, then veered away. The enemy ship exploded. The shockwave damaged 3 more enemy vessels. The recording ended with the Indomitable limping away from the battle, half destroyed but still flying. 8 enemy ships were destroyed or disabled. The remaining 12 broke off their attack. Velthar stood silent for a long moment. Finally he spoke. What kind of species fights like this? Crix pulled up more data. Commander, I have analyzed their military doctrine. Humans have a concept they call acceptable casualties. They will sacrifice themselves to achieve mission objectives. They have another concept. No one left behind. They will risk everything to recover their dead and wounded. Those 2 ideas contradict each other, Velthar said. Yes, Crix agreed. Human psychology is full of contradictions. They value individual life but will sacrifice for the group. They fear death but charge into battle anyway. They know when they are outmatched but refuse to surrender. Velthar looked at the frozen humans in their cryopods, small creatures, fragile biology, primitive technology. Yet they had survived battles that should have killed them all. Thex's voice came through the communication channel. Commander, we have found something in their cargo bay. What is it? Velthar asked. Bodies, sir. Human bodies. 23 of them, preserved in sealed containers. They died in the last battle. Belthar felt that cold sensation again. They kept their dead? Yes, Commander, Thex replied. There is a manifest attached. It says fallen crew members, to be returned to Earth for burial with honors. They carried their dead through their escape. They used precious cargo space for corpses. Crix pulled up more information. This is consistent with human cultural practices, Commander. They have elaborate rituals for their dead. They believe in honoring those who died in service. It is a fundamental part of their military culture. Belthar made a decision. Thex returned to the Pride of Talvar. Bring the human ship's computer core. I need to report this to Admiral Velkar. What about the humans, Commander? Thex asked. Belthar looked at the screen showing the sleeping humans. Leave them frozen for now. We need to decide what to do with them. As Thex and his team prepared to leave the human ship, one soldier found something in Captain Yuna's quarters, a small book handwritten in neat symbols. The translator identified it as a personal journal. The soldier scanned several pages and sent them to Crix. Crix read the entries and felt his skin grow cold. One entry stood out. Day 847. We are outnumbered. Our weapons are inferior. Our ship is damaged beyond full repair. Command has offered us the option to surrender. The crew voted. The result was unanimous. We fight. If we die doing our duty. Earth expects every sailor to do their duty, and we will not disappoint. If anyone finds this journal after we are gone, know this. We did not surrender. We never surrender. Crix showed the entry to Commander Velthar. The commander read it twice, then looked up at the viewing screen where the human ship floated in the darkness. Contact Admiral Velkar immediately, Velthar said. Tell him we have encountered a new species. Tell him they are dangerous. Tell him we need orders on how to proceed. Crix began transmitting the report. As he worked, he realized something that terrified him. The UESN Indomitable was listed in the Human Fleet Registry as a patrol corvette, a small ship, one of their smallest military vessels. If this was what humans could do with a small patrol ship, what could they do with their real warships? What could they do with their full fleet? Crix decided he did not want to know the answer. They scanned a human warship, and what they found terrified the aliens. Part 1, The Darkness of Space, held many secrets, but Commander Velthar had seen most of them. He stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Pride of Talvar, watching the viewing screens with barely contained satisfaction. His empire had conquered 12 star systems. His fleet had destroyed countless enemies. Nothing in this galaxy could surprise him anymore, or so he thought. Commander, we have detected an unknown vessel, his sensor officer reported. Distance 40,000 kilometers. It appears to be drifting. Velthar leaned forward, his 3 eyes focusing on the screen. The ship was small, perhaps 300 meters long. Its hull was dark and scarred. No lights flickered on its surface. No energy signatures pulsed from its engines. A derelict, Velthar said, dismissing it with a wave of his hand. Probably destroyed in some minor conflict. Scan it anyway. The science officer, a thin creature named Crix, worked at his station. His fingers moved across the controls and data began flowing across the screens. Crix's expression changed from boredom to confusion, then to something that looked almost like concern. Commander, Crix said slowly, this vessel is constructed from primitive materials. Iron, titanium, carbon composites. These alloys are centuries behind our technology. Velthar laughed and several officers on the bridge joined him. Primitives, he said. What else? Crix continued reading the data. The ship has nuclear reactors for power, magnetic accelerator weapons, chemical fuel systems for maneuvering. Commander, this technology is so old that our museums would reject it. More laughter filled the bridge. Velthar felt a surge of superiority. The galaxy was full of backward species that thought they could travel the stars with such crude equipment. They all learned eventually that technology mattered. Power mattered. The Talvari had both. Can you identify the species? Velthar asked. Crix typed commands into his console. Yes, Commander. The ship's identification beacon is weak but readable. It says UESN Indomitable. United Earth Space Navy. The species calls themselves humans. Humans, Velthar repeated. He had never heard of them. Show me what they look like. Crix pulled up biological data from the scan. On the screen appeared the image of a creature standing upright on 2 legs. It had 2 arms, 2 eyes, and skin without scales or protective plating. It looked soft, vulnerable. They are mammals, Commander, Crix said. They have internal skeletons made of calcium. Their skin has no natural armor. They breathe an oxygen-nitrogen atmosphere. By our standards, they are physically weak. Velthar studied the image. The creature looked harmless. He had fought species far more dangerous than this. Life signs? 37 aboard, Crix reported. All in some kind of suspended animation. Their life support is minimal, keeping them in frozen sleep. Probably survivors from a battle, Velthar said. He made a decision quickly, as commanders must. Prepare a boarding party. I want that ship searched. Recover any useful technology or data. If these humans are worth anything, we can sell them as slaves. If not, destroy the vessel. Yes, Commander, several officers responded. Within minutes, a Talvari assault shuttle launched from the Pride of Talvar. It carried 20 soldiers, all armed and armored. They crossed the void between the two ships quickly. The shuttle's magnetic clamps locked onto the human vessel's hull with a solid thunk. Velthar watched through the soldiers' helmet cameras. The boarding party cut through the airlock easily. The human ship's security systems were either damaged or non-existent. The soldiers entered without resistance. The interior of the human ship was cramped and dark. Emergency lights cast red shadows across narrow corridors. Everything looked functional but basic. No decorations. No comfort. Just metal walls and exposed pipes. This ship is a coffin, one soldier said over the communication channel. How did these creatures survive in such conditions? Subcommander Thex, leading the boarding party, moved deeper into the vessel. His team spread out, searching room by room. They found the crew quarters first. Tiny rooms barely large enough for a single being. Personal items were secured in locked compartments. Pictures of other humans. Strange written symbols that their translators slowly decoded. Then they found the cryo bay. 37 cylindrical pods lined the walls, each containing a human in frozen sleep. Frost covered the glass panels. The humans inside looked peaceful, unaware that aliens were studying them. Commander Velthar, Thex reported. The humans are all alive. Should we wake them? No, Velthar ordered. Not yet. Find their computer systems. I want to know who these humans are and where they came from. Thex moved to the bridge. It was small, designed for efficiency rather than grandeur. 6 stations surrounded a central command chair. The screens were dark, but the computers still had power. Thex connected a Talvari data extractor to the human systems. Back on the Pride of Talvar, Crix received the data stream. His workstation lit up with information, files, logs, records, medical data, combat reports. He began reading, and what he found made his blood run cold. Commander, Crix said quietly, I think you should see this. Velthar walked over to Crix's station. What is it? Crix pulled up combat logs. The UESN Indomitable has been in 17 separate engagements. Against 5 different hostile species. They won 14 of those battles. Velthar frowned. With this primitive technology? How? Crix displayed damage reports. The ship's hull showed evidence of energy weapon strikes, kinetic impacts, and even nuclear detonations. Yet the vessel had survived. Repairs had been made dozens of times, but the ship kept fighting. The humans have a saying, Crix said, reading from a translated file. The only easy day was yesterday. What does that mean? Velthar asked. I believe it means they expect every day to be difficult, Crix explained. They do not anticipate easy victories or peaceful times. Velthar studied the combat logs more carefully. One battle report caught his attention. The UESN Indomitable had faced 20 enemy ships alone. It had destroyed 8 of them before managing to escape. The human captain had ordered ramming speed when their weapons failed. They had used their own ship as a weapon. These humans are insane, Velthar muttered. Crix opened another file. Medical records. He displayed them on the screen, and Velthar leaned closer. The data showed human biology in detail. Their healing rates, their pain tolerance, their physical capabilities under stress. Commander, Crix said, his voice shaking slightly. These humans come from a death world. Gravity 1.5 times our standard, temperature variations of 100 degrees, atmospheric pressure that would crush most species. They evolved as persistence predators. They chase their prey until it dies of exhaustion. Velthar felt something unfamiliar, a cold sensation in his core. Was it fear? No, he was Talvari. He feared nothing, but doubt crept in anyway. Continue the investigation, Velthar ordered. I want to know everything about these humans before we decide what to do with them. Crix nodded and returned to his work. But in his mind, one thought repeated. They had not found a derelict ship full of primitives. They had found something far more dangerous. They had found survivors.